listen to the director really well, what movie he wants to make and what is important for him. You will never decide on your own what music is going to be for a film. For starters, you will have elaborate conversations with the director. For instance, simple questions like, does he want wall-to-wall music in this movie, or does he want barely any music in the movie and just a couple of moments here and there? Two good examples of that. Mad Max is a movie that starts with music and it ends with music, and there's no silence in between except for a few spots. Now, if you compare that with another movie, Black Mass with Johnny Depp, that is a movie that has a lot of moments in it where there's no music, and the music only comes in to do like a certain thing, and then it disappears, and then it's gone for like 10, 12 minutes, and then it kind of comes back. Two different, completely different approaches to a film score. And a director is the one that will tell you what is important to him and what is not important to him. He's not going to tell you, make me something like this, or he will not say to you at first, oh, I have a cue here from John Williams, and that is what it needs to be. Like, that's not what a director would do. The fact that you get hired is already based on your previous work and your previous style that you have showcased. So once you get asked by a director to work with him, you can safely assume that whatever your body of work is, that's the reason why he wants to work with you. Or a good recommendation from a friend director or a studio or a distributor that you've worked with, or producers. So you can safely assume that is all right, sorted out. So by the time you start talking to the director, he's familiar with your style, he's familiar with your approach to things, but he will have a lot to say about like what is important to him in a film. So he could point out, well, this character in the movie is very important to me, and I want to feel as emotional as I can for this character. For instance, a couple of examples, like George Miller, the director of Mad Max, would constantly tell me how important it was that we feel the post-traumatic stress in Mad Max, in Max. So that's why all the music that surrounds him is so chaotic, with rhythms and with super fast strings, and he's always under a huge amount of stress. Now, let's cut to Black Mass that I mentioned in another video. With Johnny Depp, where he plays Jimmy Bolger, and he's a really evil person and so rotten to the core, and he really wanted to feel that in the music. And then on the other hand, in the same movie, there's an FBI agent, and he is one of the persons that's the most loyal to Jimmy Bolger, but he then at the end is the only one that is catching the fall. You know, he's really taking the fall for him, and he goes to jail for like 60 years or something, while the other persons that committed murder in the movie just basically walked out of jail just like that, because they were willing to work with the FBI to rat this FBI agent Connolly out. For this character, the director said, I really want to feel emotion for him, that it's so sad that the guy who stood with him the longest, that didn't rat him out, is the one that then goes to jail for so long, while the other guys didn't. So these are things that a director would point out. A director would point out, this is an important part for me in the story. And he would, for instance, say, I want you to build up your music, and this is the main event of the film, and that really needs to feel like very emotional, or very angry, or very suspense, or very brutal, or very aggressive. So these, another point that a director would point out. So I can say too much that I would not cover in this video within a certain time frame, but I hope it makes sense, the kind of conversations that you have with the director, and how important certain things are in the movie, because you're not the only one that is going to decide what the score eventually is going to be.